This is Jules with another Monster Mini tech review. Today I'll be weighing in with my thoughts on the Google Pixel 2 XL. Inside the box you will receive a USB Type-C to USB Type-C charge cable. You'll also get the USB Type-C charging adapter that's capable of quick charging. You'll get the USB Type-C to 3.5mm headphone adapter. You'll also receive a USB Type-C to USB Type-A OTG adapter that can be used to transfer data from this phone to another phone or this phone to a PC. And last but not least, you'll of course receive the Pixel 2. In this case, it's the Panda version. First, I want to say this is a beautiful device. I've held the Pixel 2 almost blue version in my hand and thought it was great. I began to worry the XL2 was going to be awkward to hold and use. I'm pleased to say that that's not the case. The Pixel 2 XL is easy to hold and use for the most part with one hand. I like the looks of the phone overall. At first I thought the bezel were going to be weird, but they aren't. It looks smooth and well designed. Keeping with the minimal bezel trend, the Pixel 2 XL doesn't disappoint. While there is slightly more bezel when compared to, say, the Galaxy S8 Plus, the Pixel 2 XL makes use of it by including dual front-facing stereo speakers, a feature most other flagship phones don't include. The fingerprint reader on the back is in the perfect place for most people and is the quickest fingerprint reader I've ever used. The only physical buttons on the Pixel 2 XL are found on the right side. They are the power button and the volume rocker. One thing I want to mention is the orange color on the black and white Panda version isn't as bright as the advertisements make it appear. I'd say it's closer to a peach color than the bright safety orange that I thought it was going to be. My one gripe with the buttons are they're too close and on the same side. This is coming from a previous Galaxy user. On the Samsung, the buttons are on opposite sides of the phone, and that makes it easy to reach into the pocket and quickly adjust the volume. However, I find I often press the power button instead of the volume rocker. This isn't a major problem, just a slight annoyance. I'm sure I'll get used to it over time, but I just want to point it out. Like many flagship phones for 2017, the 3.5mm headphone jack has been removed. While we're on the subject of headphones, in my opinion, all flagship phones should include a decent set of headphones, especially if it's using the USB Type-C. Most of us have 3.5mm headphones laying around, but almost no one has USB Type-C. And just a thought, but if you're trying to convince me to use USB Type-C in the future, why not just throw a set in the box? I will say that all is not lost though. I have found that the USB Type-C dongle that's included has significantly better sound quality when compared to most 3.5mm headphone jacks. I've also noticed an immediate and significant increase in sound quality when connected to my vehicle, which has a near audiophile grade custom installed sound system. I wish I could say the same for audio over Bluetooth connection, but I can't. I found the Bluetooth listening volume to be significantly lower when compared to other devices. I normally have no problem listening to music when I'm out riding my motorcycle, but the Pixel 2 XL requires me to turn the headphones all the way up, and then the output is reasonable. I say 100% volume on the Pixel 2's Bluetooth volume is equivalent to 75% volume on my Galaxy devices and the Pixel 1. As a side note, this could be something that could be adjusted with an update and probably won't affect a large number of users. It's just something that I noticed. Again, not a deal breaker, but I did want to mention it. On to performance. Performance is not just fast, it's crazy fast, but that should be expected from a flagship device in 2017. It has 4GB of RAM and is running a stock version of Android without the RAM devouring third-party user interfaces like those tacked on by Samsung, HTC, or LG. This allows the Pixel 2 to make better use of the RAM that's available. You combine that with the latest model of the Snapdragon processor, you have a device that's likely to be the top of its class even in 2018. This results in a buttery smooth, lightning fast experience with little to no hiccups in performance even when multitasking. When it comes to performance, I have no complaints. Not at all. Now about this camera, what can I say really? Only one word comes to mind, and that's amazing. I can't begin to explain how good this camera is. It took me by surprise, and I'm not new to camera hardware. What Google has done here is nothing short of amazing. And I realize I keep saying amazing when I'm talking about this camera, but it simply is. I've included a few pictures that I've taken. This is straight from the camera with no editing so you can see for yourself. Even more amazing is that Google's portrait mode is done with only one lens, machine learning, and AI. It's really neat how it works. When you take a picture, it is essentially split into 2 pixels and creates a stereo image of sorts. The machine learning and AI uses the data to determine what is the subject and what's the background. It then processes that data into a portrait-style image. The result is the ability to take portraits on the front camera or the rear camera. It's no slouch at taking normal photos either, and even includes the best image stabilization that can be found on any smartphone on the market. I'll be making a short video soon that will be using the camera from the Pixel 2 XL only, so please subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell to be notified once the video is posted. Okay, so we finally arrived at the 500-pound Android in the room, the display, and what can I say? It's really a non-issue, but here it goes. The colors are more muted when compared to overly saturated displays like those used in Samsung Galaxy devices. It's much more apparent when the devices are sitting next to each other. When they aren't, you don't notice it, and after a day or two of using the Pixel 2 XL, the colors look completely normal to me, and I don't feel like I'm using a subpar display. The non-overly saturated colors aren't a sign of a bad display. It's a color choice made by Google to represent a true-to-life color spectrum. That said, Google has stated that it will include an option in a future update to adjust the color saturation. I've seen the update, and I can say that it puts the colors more in line with those devices like the Galaxy Note 8 and the iPhone X. I need to take a few seconds to address something though. I remember when the Samsung phones began to release with the overly saturated colors, and a lot of people complained. People complained that the colors were hyper-realistic and that they made images look way too vivid. We're used to that now, to the hyper-realism, overly saturated colors, and no one complains. However, in 2017, when the company releases a phone with the color spectrum designed to be more accurate and reproduce images, people lose their minds. The main reason for the delay in this review was to inspect the screen for potential burn-in after using the phone for a while. I must admit that I'm on the beta update that dims the navigation buttons after a few seconds. As you can see, they begin to dim progressively over time, and Google did this in efforts to fight potential screen burn-in. I'm happy to report that I haven't seen any screen burn-in even when I look on a full gray screen. That said, if there is any, I can't notice it. Even if there was, most people would never notice it, as we don't use our phones in a way that would make screen burn-in obvious. All that said, Google extended the warranty from 1 year to 2 years to put consumers' fears at rest. I think this is even more reason to pick up the Pixel 2 as you receive an additional year of warranty through Google. I can't complain about that. To sum it all up, I'm happy that I decided to use the Pixel 2 XL as my everyday carry. The battery lasts forever, it's fast, it has stereo speakers, and has unexpectedly great features like the Squeeze 4 Assistant that I use more and more in my everyday life. Even the cool feature of listening to music in the background and displaying the title on the lock screen automatically has come in handy. You pair that with an amazing camera, a good display despite what people say, and it's a winner in my book. If you like this review, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot and will keep you up to date when we post content. Thank you for checking us out.